This podcast is brought to you in part by P&P Games, your online source for everything video games. Visit their website at pnpgames.com or at their 2 retail locations in Winnipeg, Manitoba. All right, everybody, and welcome to the Touch of Gaming podcast, episode number 141. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me, Jared Schultz. Jared, how are you doing, Jared?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing, Lloyd?
You know, I'm doing okay. I can't complain too much. Can't complain. I had a week off. I was at the lake. I had many adult beverages while sitting outside in the warmth with my feet in the sand. It was a very good time. Much needed vacation for me, I think.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I took a few days off, and plus we had a little holiday over here. And
yeah, see, we had a holiday too. We have Canada Day, which is 3 days before yours. But I still did stuff on my holiday. I don't know about you on your American holiday. I guess you guys don't do stuff. You just shoot off fireworks and eat barbecue.
Yeah, I saw that you went and did a show with, or you did Nintendo on that day, and I was like, oh man, I'm a loser. I guess I have things to do on my holiday.
It's funny. It's funny. You have a family. You have to spend time with your family.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. Well, what do you say we get into the show?
All right. Sounds like a plan. Might as well get into it because it looks like there's a lot to cover since we haven't talked for a while.
There is going to be a fair bit to cover. So as mentioned at the top of the podcast, this episode is sponsored by P&P Games. If you are into video games, you like new games, you like used games, you can find them all at pnpgames.com. Check them out. And if you do buy something, tell them that VG Podcasts sent you. All right, well, let's get into what we've been playing. Jared, it's been a while. I haven't put everything that I've been playing over the last few weeks. I've been kind of just keeping it to the last week or so. So what have you been doing? Because I know you have like 7,000 games listed here. So
are you trying to influence me to talk about less of them?
No, not at all. I'm just saying, wow, you play a lot of games.
Yeah, so I have been playing quite a few games. On and off. I actually took some of a break from iPod for a little bit, and then just recently picked it back up. So I've still been playing Clash of Clans pretty regularly. I think it's getting to that point where I'm getting tired of it, like seems to happen with every freemium game.
Right.
And then I'll be a free agent here in a couple of weeks looking for a new freemium game to bother with.
Could always start up Skylanders again. It's getting good.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So, been playing quite a bit of that. It gets really, really slow. Like, I mean, you can go and attack every time, but you know, when you're looking to attack people, you get to the point where you have to look through like 30 targets before you actually find one that you actually can attack. I'm very high trophies, which is kind of their points in attacking for what level I actually am. And so everyone around me in trophies is significantly larger and has better stuff than I do. Then all the the money required goes up exponentially to the point that when I have to build an upgrade and it's like 4 days, it's just, to me, that's too long. I have to spend a worker for 4 days and can't do anything else with them. And yeah, so I'm getting to the point where it's slowed down too much, and I am getting a little bit bored with it, even though I really kind of want to see what happens later, because it looks like they do have a lot of stuff added for later in the game, but unfortunately, I think I'm not going to be able to see it because I'm pretty much done with it.
Nice.
It happens. So, I don't know. Maybe you'll hear me talk about it again, but it's getting close. Its time is nigh. Oh, looks like if I try to go to the next level town hall, it's 6 days.
Wow.
So I have to first collect an insane amount of money.
And then not play the game for a week after you hit one little button.
Yeah. Yeah, so 6 days is just a little bit long to me.
Or you could just buy some of their lovely premium currency and just kind of do it in like, I don't know, a few seconds. That would be good. You should try that.
Exactly, and that's not going to happen either. So anyway, that's Clash of Clans. It's still a game. Uh, the next thing that I've been playing is a game called the Mini Motor Racing Evo.
I saw that.
I'm
I saw that
it
on the
went
App
free,
Store. Yeah, I missed it while it was free.
and it's definitely worth free.
Oh, okay.
Uh, in some ways, it's a little bit easy. At least where I'm at now, I'm through I think like 20 races, but the races are nice and quick, so you can play through them. It's done like you are given a certain perspective, and then you have to, with like a thumb joystick, point which direction you want your guy to go.
Right.
There are lots of unlockable cars, and you can also spend your money upgrading your cars. It's pretty good. I'm actually, channeling a little bit of Anthony here and digging it. As a racing game, it's a nice quick one. It probably wouldn't be, that standard, but it's fun and it's kind of cartoony. But I like it. I'll probably keep playing it, see how far. There's a ton of levels in it. I think there's like a couple hundred, and then you can unlock with in-game currency, so money that you actually earn from the game. You can unlock like another 100 levels. So,
oh wow,
it's pretty good. And then I've been playing this game called Quadrupus. I'm not sure what I think of this game because it's quadrupus because it's an octopus with 4 legs, hence a quadrupus.
nice.
Got it? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is this is this Quadrupus Rampage? Is that what it's called?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I miss part of the name?
No, I just remembered hearing about a game called Quadrupus something, and I thought it was Quadrupus Rampage. Just wanted to make sure we're talking about the same game.
Yeah, hold on. It says Quadrupus made in. Yep, Quadrupus Rampage. And so what it is you are basically given a level. You go fight all the baddies on the level. It acts kind of like a dual stick shooter in that, well, not really dual stick shooter, but a one stick shooter, and then the other the other finger is used to do all the attacks. So I guess it's action RPG-ish. And then you keep going and you try and get as deep as you can. Whenever you defeat all the enemies on a level, then the stairway to the next level will appear. The cool thing is you collect cash, and when you have enough cash, you can then go get permanent upgrades that allow you to hopefully get further, assuming you play just as well as you did the time before. And yeah, I think that there's supposed to be an in-game that there's a guy that you beat when you get so far down. I haven't got that far yet, so I'll probably keep playing it. But it's an interesting one, Quadrupus Rampage. Then I've been playing a game called Icebreaker, a Viking Voyage. So the interesting thing about this is it was the first game put out on the Rovio Stars. And this is an effort by the makers of Angry Birds to become a publisher.
To make even more fat wads of cash.
Well, yeah, I understand it, though, because here's the thing. They're failing at making new games that are not Angry Birds.
True.
Every other thing that they have released, they released that Casey's Contraptions thing.
Which they bought from another developer, and it was really good before, and then they released Casey Contraptions, and it didn't do so well, because it was basically the same game that people had to rebuy.
Yeah. So they're not doing the greatest at making their own IP. It's almost like they hit it out of the park, had a runaway success with Angry Birds, and they have no idea how they did that. They got lucky, which is fine. It happens. Mm-hmm. And so now if they don't, anything that they've brought out that's not Angry Birds, they're not doing so well with. So they decided to bring out a publishing group, which is probably a good move for them, because then they're able to hopefully cross-promote some of that with their Angry Birds and get these games a lot more exposure. So, it'd be great for these games to get published by this Rovio Stars group, because I think that it can get them a lot more exposure. However, this game, Icebreaker, the entire idea is there's these Vikings, and you're trying to get all the Vikings on your ship in any given level. You can cut stuff, and you like cut pieces of ice down and make things happen so that your Vikings end up on the ship. Sometimes there'll be like little goo that will stop your ice from moving, and you'll have to cut again. And then you're graded on how many cuts you ended up having to use, and then how many coins you collected. So one interesting thing they did here is it seems like every game has like a 3-star system of some sort. This has a variable number. So on one level it may be 3 coins possible, on another level it might be 7, which I think is actually cool because it means that they can adapt it a little bit to what's going on in the level.
Right.
And so maybe a harder level will have a few more on it. So it's an interesting game. There is kind of an interesting blocky art style that for some reason I really don't like in it. It's just grating on me a little bit. Especially, I think the thing that for some reason is driving me the most crazy is the text, because the text is like super blocky and stuff, and it just looks, I don't know, it looks really old, and then it doesn't play really old. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. That's about it. I'll keep going because I have a couple more here. So
sure.
Then I've been playing a game called Agricola. So
Agricola.
I'm a huge board game nerd. So there's been a huge wait for this particular title to come out. It's been delayed several times. It's finally out. It's $6.99. It plays pretty well.
Didn't it not launch it free, or was free for 24 hours or something right after launch?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay. I thought this was the one that was, and I missed it, and I was sad.
No, this one was definitely $7 the whole time. I think it dropped to $5 at one point, but yeah, it's been $7. It's by Playdeck. Playdeck has just done a really good job at converting board games into iOS games. They've done just a fantastic job. The one thing, they try really, really hard to make a really good tutorial. I'm not sure if this tutorial would teach you how to play the game. I've played the game before in its board game version. The one really cool thing is that you can play it significantly faster on this than you can on the board. So at times when you don't have time to get everything out and set up or everything else, it's a great alternative. I'm still deciding how much I like the user interface. It almost feels like there might be too many things on the board to worry about to make it really fantastic, but it's almost like it's not a replacement for it, but in situations where you can't actually play the board game, it's good.
Right.
I'll keep playing it some more. I also want to really try it on the iPad because I think that extra screen space might help, because I've been playing it on the iPod. And last, I've been playing Bridgie Jones. This game has been getting a ton of press, especially for some reason it seems like those outlets, the press outlets that are in England, have been very, very excited about Bridgie Jones.
Bridgie Jones.
Yeah. And basically the idea is there is a train, and you have to get it to the other side of the screen, and you get extra points if you collect their little doodads. And the main thing you're worried about is, how do I build a bridge that this train can get across and, stay safe while also collecting the things that I want it to collect. A lot of people are saying it's like World of Goo, and I really don't think that that's fair, because World of Goo used it in, the same kind of mechanics, but it used it in a lot of different ways, because they had like the floating things and they had a lot more things in it. So it's okay. I think it might be a little overrated from all the reviews I read. But I'm still not finished with it, so I'll postpone. That was a lot. I apologize, but
wow.
I think they all needed to be talked about.
That was a lot of things, a lot of games that have been talked about.
and they've been played. The games have been played.
Cool. So let's move on to what I've been doing. This game I'm going to be reviewing this episode. I played a lot of Deus Ex: The Fall. It came out basically when I was on my vacation. I was sitting at the lake, and I got a notification that it was there. So I tethered my phone to my iPad, and I downloaded it over 3G while sitting at the lake, and then that was a game that I played at night. Sounds like a really weird thing to do, but I did. I'll be reviewing it in this episode. Also been playing a fair bit of Magic the Gathering 2013. This one hit the iPad just before I left. It's available on iPad, iPhone, or I don't think it is on iPhone. It's available on iOS anyway, depending on what device you own. PS3, Xbox 360, PC, Mac. It's pretty much on everything. And this is just the new refresh to the Magic the Gathering app. The thing that I like about this one is they've introduced sealed deck play. So if you've ever been to a Magic the Gathering tournament, you might have done a sealed deck thing where you open a number of packs and then you're forced to build a deck out of all of the cards that you get that you've opened. And then you can do trades and things like that. So that's been built into this version as well, which is really cool. Even when you can unlock the game for $10, so it's free to download. You get a little bit of it. If you want to do sealed deck play, you have to unlock the game. Sinister, sorry, it's 2014, not 2013. Thanks, Sinister. If you unlock the game for $10, you get to do one sealed deck campaign. If you want more sealed deck campaigns, you have to buy more slots. So just like 2013 and 2012 before it, there's a lot of in-app purchase stuff. You can unlock decks without playing. You can make your cards foil for some strange reason, which I don't understand why you'd ever want to do that. But there's all these things that you can buy from inside of it. I play a lot of Magic, not the actual card game, but the video game one. If I ever want to just decompress and play for a little bit, I'll pop that in, and because it usually takes about 5 minutes to a half hour to play through a match. So I'll do that against the computer and then go about my business. So 2014 is kind of filling that role right now. I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through the main campaign and just kind of playing my way through it. So I'll probably review it next episode. I should get to the end of the main campaign by that time. And also picked up a game from a local pair of developers, actually two of them. Which I'll be talking about. So some local Winnipeg games are up on the App Store, and I urge you to check them out. The first one is called Max Rush. It's by a local indie development team. And basically, it's a match 3 puzzle game set in a medieval kind of world where instead of matching gems, you're throwing mass amounts of weapons like spears and axes and swords and other things at different creatures to make them disappear, to then create matches which then give you power-ups and things like that. You then use those power-ups to do massive damage. All the while, everything that you kill, you fill a cup of magic, and once your magic cup is filled, you can unleash the Max Rush mode, where you could basically just throw like 1,000 different things at the creatures. It's really, really insane, but it is it's a lot of fun. So I urge you to check it out. It's 99 cents. I'll hopefully be reviewing this one next episode. It's 99 cents on the App Store, and I've been having a hell of a lot of fun with it. So check it out if you're looking for another kind of RPG-y, but without any sort of stat tracking or anything, puzzle game, Max Rush. Also, a local developer here in town called Complex Games basically did a game with 2 huge partners. They partnered with Hasbro, which is a company that has been around for a long time selling toys, and they partnered with Zynga, which is another large company. And they came out with a game called Creo Cityville Invasion. So it takes the Creo, which is Hasbro's Lego knockoff stuff, and Cityville, which is one of Zynga's social game stuff. And basically, they mash it all together into a desktop tower defense type thing, where you're putting up towers and you're shooting things. I'm only a few levels into the game. It's a free title with freemium currency built into it, so I'm sure there's a lot of stuff to lot of stuff to do, but yeah, it's pretty interesting, and the fact that these guys partnered with like two huge companies just made me kind of pause for a second and try to figure out how this actually happened and why I didn't hear about it until it actually hit the App Store. So if you're looking for a fun kind of casual kind of desktop tower defense game, definitely check it out. Creo Cityville Invasion. Okay, Jared, I'm hearing lots of things. It sounds like I'm hearing a jackhammer, and I don't know. Are you putting up drywall there or something?
For some reason, that outlet was not getting power, and my laptop was about to shut down because it wasn't getting any power.
Nice.
It's all fixed. I'm good now.
Awesome.
Apologize for that.
Oh, no problem. I muted you near the end because it was getting quite loud. So how about we get into the rest of the show? Let's talk about notable releases. Last week, some decent games came out that I thought I'd make mention of here before we get into the news. The first is Leisure Suit Larry Reloaded for $4.99 hit the App Store. This is a game that I kickstarted way back in the day to help them recreate Leisure Suit Larry 1 for modern PCs. So I did the Kickstarter. I got a Steam copy, so I can play it on my PC or my Mac. And now I kind of want to get this one on the iPad because I'd rather play this game on the iPad. So if you've never played a Leisure Suit Larry game, you played Larry Laffer, you're 30, 40, 50-something, probably a 40-something guy who thinks he's a hit with the ladies, but really you're not. You walk around in a leisure suit with your shirt open and a big gold chain type thing. And it's just about you failing at life, essentially. Leisure Suit Larry 1 came out like 20 years ago, so this game's been around for a long time. So they've updated it with newer game mechanics. So it's not the old kind of point and click system. Even though it is a point and click system, it doesn't look like the old one with the cursors that change as you hover over items. They've redone all the animation. Obviously, it's all hand drawn, fully animated with a whole new musical score. A lot of the people that worked on the first game were working on this one as well. So it's if you like old point and click adventure games, this might be one for you to check out. And it's only $5, where I think it's $10 or $15 on every other platform. So it's a pretty good deal if you're an iOS gamer. Also coming out this week is a game called Breach and Clear. It's $2 on the App Store, and people are describing it as XCOM mixed with Call of Duty. So it's a top-down tactical shooter, but it's similar to like an XCOM game. So you are doing turn-based movement on the map, but it's all with like modern weapons. I know, Jared, you said you picked it up. Have you popped it up and played it at all?
No. I did buy it last night. The one couple things to note about it, they originally said it was going to be free to play. If you looked, and I followed the development on this one because I was really excited for it. It looks great. But they originally said it was going to be free to play, and then they said that free to play just kept getting in the way of the game. And so at that point, they decided, if it's getting in the way of the game, we'll just make the game a premium game. However, you can buy like an experience doubler and a coin doubler, and then you can also buy like money packs if the progress isn't going. So I'm interested to see how they balance that, and that's one thing I'm really looking forward to. And the other thing is, if you are interested in this game, pick it up quickly, because they said that the $1.99 price is a early adopter sale, and then it will be going to $3.99. So yeah, if you're interested, check it out. If you're not quite sure, I'm sure I'll be talking about it next week.
Nice. Okay, so we'll hear more about that one next week. All right, man, let's get into the news. First off, something that's actually kind of depressing basically came out last week, and that was the announcement of the death of a game, Infinity Blade Dungeons, a game that we both, Jared, have been looking forward to since it was basically announced on Apple's stage during one of the keynote presentations. It was basically Infinity Blade mashed together with Diablo, and you would basically be going through dungeon hunting, killing things, having big boss battles. basically, it's not coming out. It's been canceled. Epic announced that they had closed the studio earlier this year. I think it was I can't remember exactly when it was, but 38 Studios basically had basically been shut down, and that was the studio that was been reported to have been making this game. Well, they just confirmed that yes, indeed, the studio was closed and the game was canceled. So if you've been looking forward to this one, unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait a lot longer, probably forever, because it looks like the game has in fact been canceled. Quite sad, man.
Yeah, it's really sad.
It looked really good. It looked playable, actually, at Apple's presentation. So it must have been pretty far along. I wonder what kind of, I don't know, what kind of issues they ran into, or if maybe they only made like 5 minutes of game and they tried to make everything work in those 5 minutes, and they couldn't actually develop a full game around it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it definitely is sad. So this is, just so everyone knows, this is not. It wasn't being developed by the same people that made Infinity Blade, because that was done by Chair.
Right.
But yeah, they did close down the studio that they had given that license to. So
yeah, exactly. So if you've been waiting for this game, like I said, you can wait a little longer. More Infinity Blade news. It was free. Apple had a big thing the last couple of weeks where they were basically cheering that the App Store is 5 years old, and there was a whole pile of games that were set to free. There was a bunch of EA titles. There was like, what was it, Mirror's Edge, and a few other ones were free. There was Sword and Sorcery was set to free, and one of the big games that was made free was Infinity Blade 2. I know a lot of people downloaded it. In fact, Epic announced that a 5.7 million new players had downloaded and started playing Infinity Blade 2. So can you imagine that? Making a game, selling it to millions of people, and then making it free, and then 5.7, like almost 6 million more people download it and enjoy the game that you made. That's got to feel pretty good for Chair. They got to be pretty happy about that.
yeah, it made me want to go join back up and play it again, because I remember that I was playing the Clash Mob, and they had the little Clash Mob feature that if the community did so much damage or did whatever,
yep,
that they would give you special items. And I kind of gave up because the Clash Mobs kept losing. They were setting the goals too high. And so it kind of makes me want to go pick it back up and see if all these this new players are actually making the Clash Mob successful again.
I hope so, because I tried a couple Clash Mobs, and yeah, like you said, it was like 10 or 15% of the Clash Mobs were done, and they never successfully completed. So I deleted the game as well, because I was like, okay, well, this is boring. I don't want to do this. So yeah, hopefully that will make everything better for everybody else that's playing. So hopefully with those 5.7 million players, maybe that's 5.7 more listeners for our show. I don't want to say 5.7 million, just maybe 5.7 more listeners to the show, which would be nice.
It's surprising that a free would do that when that game has been selling for a long time. You know,
yeah,
that free moves things that much. It's amazing.
It is quite.
And you
amazing.
wonder how many of those 5.7 will actually ever open the game.
Totally. And what is it? Max Rush, the game that I talked about earlier in what I've been playing. I interviewed the developers on Full and Indie last night, and they said that they launched right when Infinity Blade 2 went free. So pretty much every other game was not selling because there was a great game that was released for free. So they're saying that their launch would have been a pretty bad timed launch because of that. So they might have been buried a little bit because of all the people that have been doing that stuff. So hopefully they can sell a few more copies though, because it is a really fun game.
Cool.
All right, let's move on. Next up, Deus Ex The Fall came out. I'm going to be reviewing it in this episode. And they did something interesting, Jared. I know Jared likes this. We were talking about this and kind of laughing about it. If you have a jailbroken device and you try to play this game, you get a little warning. And it says, you know what? Sorry, you have an unmodified, or you have a modified version of the OS, so therefore you can't shoot. So people that had bought this game or downloaded the game illegally on their jailbroken device were not able to actually shoot a gun in this game, which is a pretty funny way to punish jailbreakers. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that have a jailbroken device and they actually buy their software. They use it because they like to have their user interface different or something like that. So there was a huge backlash. An update came out yesterday or the day before that basically Square Enix pushed out and said, okay, sorry, we fixed that. That little bug has now been fixed. It's not a bug. It was in there for some reason. It wasn't like a bug. It wasn't like, oh my God, I can't believe our game shipped with this weird dialogue with text in it that fully explains what exactly happened. That is such a weird bug. But anyway, so now if you have a jailbroken device and you bought this game, just update to the latest version and you can now fire guns. The one interesting thing about this game is that little thing, that little punishment really wasn't a punishment because the game is fully beatable without actually firing a gun. You can do it the stealth route, or you can do like basically stun takedowns and stuff. So you didn't really need to have gun shooting in this game at all. But I always shoot my guns in Deus Ex games, even though I could do it stealthy. I really like playing with the guns in the game. So yeah. That's interesting. We saw that for a while, Jared, where developers were putting in like jailbreaker punishments, and they kind of went away. It was weird for that to come back, and it was weird for Square Enix to do it. Someone who, like a development studio that always gets like smacked around for pricing or other things, now they did something else, and basically had to pay the price again. Really bizarre.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny because of the fact that it came out and. First of all, they didn't really tell you about it before you downloaded it. You had to actually download it, and then it did it. Yeah. And then the other thing that I thought was just so funny is, we always smack around Square Enix on their pricing. And this one, they finally brought out a premium title, a new IP at what we would consider a normal going rate for the iTunes store at $7. So all of a sudden, everyone's happy, and then they're like, oh, no. Sorry, Square Enix still can't get it right. They still screwed something up. Good job, Square Enix. You still managed to screw something up.
It's so bizarre. They like to have problems. They like to have the bad press. I think they think that all press is good press, even if it is bad press. I don't know. Maybe they'll learn one day. Maybe. All right, let's move on. This is interesting. The new season of Breaking Bad is right around the corner. So something came out, which isn't a game. It's a book available on iBooks. If you go to the iBooks store, by Sony's Picture Television is the publisher. It's called Breaking Bad Alchemy. And basically what it is, it's an iBook for, I think it's $7.99, I believe. And basically it's a book with content about the show. There's 120 pages of original content, 350 interactive elements, such as like images and movies, a timeline, exclusive interviews with the creator and some of the stars, a featurette where you basically get to experience the pilot, but sort of the evolution from when they first envisioned it all the way to when it actually came. Pretty interesting stuff. I haven't picked it up yet. I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan, so I'm going to be grabbing this one in the near future. But yeah, that's kind of a neat little thing, and makes me wonder if more developers are going to do this type of thing, or more studios are going to do this with, I guess, partnering up with other developers. I've seen some things for games, like there's the last day of featurettes that Jeff Keighley does. They did one for Tomb Raider and for Mass Effect, I believe, Mass Effect 3, kind of how the game was worked on, how it went from start to finish type thing. And now you get a major studio doing it for one of their series. So maybe that means that Sony is going to be doing more of these types of things. Anyway, kind of interesting thing. It's not really a game, but I'm sure there's a lot of cross-pollination between gamers and people that like Breaking Bad. So it made sense to mention it here on the show. Anything to add, Jared? You're not a Breaking Bad fan, are you?
You know, I actually haven't ever watched Breaking Bad. It's one of those shows that I've always thought, oh, that looks interesting, and never actually watched. Sorry.
Good. It's good. It's good. Go check it out.
Therefore, I got nothing. And guess what?
What?
I've never watched Firefly.
Oh
either.
my God. Okay, I'm gonna hang up on you now. Just turn in your card when you leave the room. The next up was the announcement this week that there's going to be an officially licensed Firefly game. It's going to be heading to iOS, and it's going to be headed to iOS in 2014, and that's pretty much it. There's a teaser that was released. It's going to be a multi-platform, so iOS and Android. And right now, pretty much the only thing you can do is sign up on their website to get more news. So I love Firefly, the series. I love Joss Whedon, and this seemed to be a franchise that has been loved by so many, but ignored by so many as well. And I'm really looking forward to the game. I don't know what the game is actually going to be, but just the fact that it's coming out is a good thing in my books. So anyway, we'll probably be covering this as it gets closer to launch. They said 2014, so it could be January 2014. It could be December 31st, 2014, or it could slip to 2015. Who knows? But it is kind of a neat thing that Firefly is still alive out there. Maybe that means there could be a Kickstarter to I don't know, reinvigorate the franchise, or maybe Netflix can order another season or something. I love the show, so anything in that world would be a bonus in my books. But we'll move on since Jared's looking really bored right now. Two things that he has no interest in.
No, I'm talking about Earthbound in the chat room with the many people that came to join us today.
Okay, at least you're keeping occupied.
I'm talking to the masses. So anyway, the next story that we have here to talk about is we have Hasbro. We kind of quickly mentioned them. They're obviously a massive game company that is pretty well known. They went and bought an iOS game developer. Well, they didn't buy it. They bought a majority stake in Backflip Studios. So Backflip Studios, they're probably best known. Well, what are they best known for? They have that Ragdoll Blaster game, but they also have Paper Toss, and they have this little game called Dragonville that sucked up a year of my life.
Oh, I heard about that game a few times.
Yeah, I played it for a long time. Anyway, and Jetpack Joyride. Oh, I would have been in trouble had I not mentioned that one.
Jetpack Joyride, wasn't that Half Brick?
I think so. Now that you mentioned that, Sinister, you're feeding us bad information. So really great games, but interesting.
Oh, you're breaking up.
Enough, a 70%. Okay, a 70% stake went for $112 million.
That seems like nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, but wow, I think it's really impressive. They really did have some great games, and $112. So my hope is that this works out well for both companies, that they kind of let Half Brick develop, keep doing, or not Half Brick. Gosh, now that we said that, I'm confused. Backflip. Let Backflip do their thing, but also with some nice Hasbro licenses.
Nice.
I think that would be really great, and see what they can do.
Maybe that means that they don't have to partner with Zynga anymore to release their games. Maybe they wanted to do that for the Creo game, which partnered with Zynga. Maybe they in the future they just want to publish their own games. So maybe there's going to be a huge onslaught of different Creo titles that are going to be coming out from Backflip Studios, since they're now majority owned by Hasbro.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Hasbro has some great licenses, and it'll be interesting to see if they try to bring any of those to the iOS. Cool.
Okay, well, you're breaking up like crazy right now, so maybe turn off your video for a few seconds and turn it back on while I get into the next story. And that is Angry Birds Star Wars 2 was announced. Angry Birds Star Wars 1, the first game, has gone free on the App Store. And they announced that Angry Birds Star Wars 2 will be coming to iOS in September. But more interesting than than just the fact that Angry Birds Star Wars is actually still continuing as a franchise, because I mean, this is Rovio. They make Angry Birds and they make it a lot. Was the fact that Angry Birds Star Wars 2 is going to support a new toy set called Telepods, and what they're going to be is little tiny Angry Birds figures. So my kids have a bunch of these. There was a bunch of Jenga sets where you could build different towers and then launch your Angry Birds at them with little launchers and things like that. But you could buy packs of these little figures. They have some Angry Birds Star Wars stuff or whatever. But with the Telepod, you put the Telepod figure on this little stand and you put it over the front-facing camera on your iPad. And then the game will actually read, I guess, a barcode or something on the bottom of this character and then actually put that character in the game. So instead of the normal Angry Birds thing where you see a line of different characters, you could just put whichever characters you have with your Telepod. I watched the trailer today, and the first thing I thought about was Skylanders. It totally made sense to me that that Skylanders is the thing. It's like, okay, everybody loves Skylanders, let's copy it. That seems to be the big thing that's going around all game development studios right now. So this seems like another Skylander kind of thing, but it is kind of interesting that that it is coming from Rovio and that they are partnering with, I guess, Disney to come up with the actual Angry Birds toys. So anyway, yeah, Angry Birds 2 will be coming out. It'll be probably cheap, and the toys will not be. So now you can buy your physical DLC for an Angry Birds game, and it'll be coming out in September. I'm sure I'm going to pick it up because my kids love Angry Birds and they love toys. So it makes sense that this will exist in our house at some point. There's rumors that they're creating more than 30 different toys that will be compatible with this game. So I don't know if it's going to be random bags like some of the figures right now where you get like minifigs or whatever in these bags and you don't know what you're getting, or whether it's going to be a whole bunch of stuff in like a box where you get a bunch of different characters and you buy booster packs or whatever. It's pretty much going to milk all sorts of money out of my wallet, I'm sure. And we'll talk about it in September when it launches. So Angry Birds Star Wars 2 coming with physical DLC, which are called Telepods, which is a horrible name for anything. But there you go. Angry Birds Star Wars 2. All right, Jared.
So first of all, do I sound better?
You do sound better.
Oh, okay. Well, we solved it. And then the second thing, what do you think?
No, now you're back to being all choppy. Are you there? Oh no, I think we lost Jared. Jared, I think we're gone. Okay, well, let's get into the reviews, and if Jared comes back before the end of the show, we'll get him to jump in and do his review. I'm going to start off with my review for a Deus Ex: The Fall. It is $6.99 on the App Store, and it's being published by Square Enix. And if you don't know Deus Ex, it is a long-standing franchise. Recently, Deus Ex Human Revolution came out on pretty much every console. It's coming out on the Wii U. It's on a whole bunch of other things as well. And it basically is a game set in the future where androids and cybernetic implants are commonplace. You get these add-ons to your body, and then you become a cybernetic being, and then you have to take certain kinds of drugs to make sure that your implants don't get rejected by your body. So this game is basically what happens when the drugs that you need to take kind of dry up. So this game takes place after a book and before Human Revolution. And some of the characters from Human Revolution are kind of in this game, sort of. So if you've read the book, which I can't think of the name right now, it follows directly after the end of that book. And you basically play a character who is trying to track down a supply of the drug that you need to not lose your implants and suffer rejection and headaches and all these types of things. So Deus Ex Human Revolution is a first-person shooter, a third-person shooter with first-person elements. Or I guess it is a first-person shooter. And basically you're going around solving missions, taking on missions, killing things, amping up your cybernetic powers. If you've played Human Revolution, it's pretty much the exact same thing. When you level up in the game, everything that you do in the game, like solving missions, getting headshots, doing takedowns, exploring, all sorts of things. Basically, you get experience points for those, as you normally do in video games. You get experience points for a lot of things that you do. But after you get a certain number of experience points, you don't actually just you don't level up. You get these things called praxis points. So as soon as you level up to the next level, you get 1 praxis point, and then you basically use the praxis points to upgrade all of the different things. So you can upgrade different parts of your cranium, so better hacking skills, or ways to basically be better in social things, where you can actually read what the characters you're talking to are doing and figure out if they're lying or not. There's skin augments for cloaking, arms for super strength. You can actually punch through walls and kill people if they're standing right by the wall as you punch through it. Torso for things like your energy meter. So when you do special moves, you use up a battery, and then the battery will slowly recharge and stuff like that. To legs, where you get super speed and all sorts of things like that. So praxis points are really how you customize your character, but you get them by leveling up. In the game, you can also buy different weapons. Unlike Deus Ex Human Revolution, you can pretty much buy anything at any time, which is kind of a weird fiction way to go. So you could be in the middle of a battle, bring up your menu and buy a new weapon and equip that weapon, and then start shooting people in the face with it. It is kind of really odd when you think about it, but I guess they had to make some concessions for the fact that this is on the iOS platform. Each of the weapons can then be upgraded with different damage or different things as well. So if you want to have more ammo or do more damage or different things, you upgrade the weapon and do that. You can also buy items, things like energy bars or painkillers, all the way to things to help your hacking and things like that. Or you can actually use the real money store to buy different things. You can buy an XP boost, which gives you 50% more experience points for everything that you do in the game, and that's, I believe, $2. And there's one for credit boost as well, which gives you 50% more credits for everything that you do for $2. So if you want, this game could quickly become a $11 game just by buying those boosts. And then, of course, they'll sell you credits if you want, because you use those credits to buy all the weapons and things that you want. So that's the main part of Deus Ex, like the kind of the stuff around it. The gameplay consists of you basically going around a level in first person and shooting things, and finding items, finding intel. When you come to a locked door, you can either look around the level, usually for the intel to unlock that door. You get like a 4-digit code, but if you don't find that, you can actually use your hacking skills. And the hacking of the doors goes from level 1 to 5. You use praxis points to upgrade your hacking, so you can do different level doors. So if you upgrade your hacking all the way up to the highest level, you can open pretty much every door in the game without any problems. Well, there are some problems because you can be discovered while you're hacking, both by the computer inside the door or by people like cops and things that are walking around the level. So it's not an instant win, but it does add a lot of fun gameplay where you have to take people out, hack a door, sneak into a room, steal intel, get credits to then buy more weapons and things like that. So that's pretty much what Deus Ex is. If you've played any of the other games, you kind of know what it is. The thing that is kind of surprising about this is that it's a $7 downloadable game on the iPad, and it plays pretty much the same as Human Revolution. It's I played a lot of Human Revolution, and I really enjoyed that game, and I felt right at home playing it on the iPad. If you don't like the controls, you can customize your heads-up display. It's basically just the fiction for it is you're adjusting the optics and where things are displayed in your vision when you're doing that on the game. And yeah, that's the game. It's pretty much a full console title. or it's designed like a full console title, and it's available for $7 on your iPad, which is pretty damn amazing. The game itself is not super short. I think I got through in about 6 hours or so. So it's not like a 30-hour console title that you're spending $60 on. There's also a lot of smaller levels. So in Human Revolution, there was a lot more bigger levels that you're exploring, going from one place to another. In this game, there's a lot of zoning. So you basically have to go from one place to another, and you might have to cross through 3 different areas, which all have a fairly sizable load time. So if you have to go from someone that gave you a quest all the way to the quest area, you basically have to load lots, which is really kind of annoying. Other things with this game that are kind of off, the AI is really kind of stupid. When you kill someone in view of someone else, everybody else around goes into an alert mode, and then they look for you. And you don't really have to move very far from where they thought you were, and they'll lose interest and then go back like to their duties. So you shot their friends in the head. They get mad for a minute, and then they're like, oh well, I guess it was random, and then they'll just go about and do their other things. You can basically sneak behind anybody and take them out, and they make a lot of noise when you do the takedowns, but it doesn't alert anybody else around them, even though if they're standing right beside someone else. So there's a lot of gamey kind of things in this game, but that can all be forgiven, just for the fact that you are getting a heavy duty game that's been kind of sized down for the iPad, and it basically doesn't lose much. Like as I said, I was right at home playing this game just as I was playing Human Revolution on my PlayStation 3. It is probably the best first-person shooter I've played on the App Store. I liked the Dead Space game. It had some major flaws. I've liked some of the Modern Combat and some of the other ones, but they're all kind of flawed in certain ways. This one seemed to be the closest to a console title that I've ever played. Of course, it's smaller than a console title. There's loading times. There's a lot of other things, but you're getting a lot of stuff for $7. The other thing about this game is that there's an update every time that you load the game. It checks the server and downloads update data. And what they're planning on doing is adding more gameplay into the game. So you can basically you can pop in one day and maybe there's new missions or other chapters that are made available. The game itself ends really kind of cliffhangery, and they say more to come. So I guess that is going to be some updates that are going to be coming out. When you do beat the game, it actually restarts into a new game plus mode that adds a bunch more difficult scenarios and ups the enemy's AI and damage and stuff like that. So it looks like they have a lot of stuff planned for this game. Even for what they have, what it shipped with, it's fully worth the $7. I really, really enjoyed it, and it was fun diving into the Deus Ex world on my iPad while sitting at the cabin at the lake, downloading it over a Wi-Fi connection from a paired up iPhone to my iPad. I was like, holy crap, I'm living in the future. And then I play a game that is set in the future. So it was all kind of a nice little thing that happened. So anyway, Deus Ex The Fall, $7 in the App Store. I love it. It is a really, really well done game. Definitely worth checking out if you like the Deus Ex games. If you've never played one, there's nothing about this game that is really going to spoil anything for the rest of the series. If nothing else, it might give you an excuse to go pick up Human Revolution, which is a really great game on other consoles that you might have in the house. If you have a Wii U, it'll be out soon, but it's available on the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, PC as well. Really great franchise, and really surprising that something this good has been released on the App Store. So check it out. Deus Ex The Fall, $6.99. I give it a 4 out of 5. Some of the bugs, some things where people were coming through walls at me. There was some really weird bugs that were happening. I haven't noticed anything with the recent patch that took away the you can't shoot if you're jailbroken. They said they fixed some of the AI and added some other fixes to it. So I haven't heard or seen any of those strange bugs. So maybe those were all fixed as well. At least I'm hoping. But anyway, Deus Ex The Fall, $6.99, 4 out of 5. All right, Jared, are you joining me? Are you back?
I think I'm back. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. Let's keep your video off. How about we just do audio for you so you can do your review?
Sounds good. We won't test it. So my review today is going to be Where's My Mickey? It is the third in the series of Where's My Water games. First was Where's My Water, then Where's My Perry. There's also like Where's My Holiday or something like that, but it wasn't a full-fledged game.
Where's my money? That should be the next one.
Yeah, this one, I think that should be the title for this one. So this one's Where's My Mickey? And I really apologize because in passing on the last episode, I said that it was better than any of the other ones. And so if you went and bought it on that, I really apologize.
I think my response to you on that was, oh, really?
Yeah, so if you need me to pay you $1, because I had you go buy a game that is nowhere near as good as I thought it was, feel free to write us, and maybe you'll get me to give you $1.
Wow, can I get $1 since you're just in a giving mood? Oh no, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, so you broke up there and you were disappeared for a while.
Okay.
Let's do
if you bought Where's My Mickey on my recommendation, I will give you $1, Lloyd. So here's the thing. So first of all, they have Where's My Mickey. There are not very many levels, and I keep going a little bit back and forth on this because one part of me wants to give them the benefit of the doubt because they've had very good updates, but I feel like I have to judge the game as it is when it releases. So even though I know there's going to be a bunch more levels, realize that you're only getting 60 levels based on what's currently here, and maybe a few more. You are playing. It's very similar to Where's My Water. It has a lot of similar features. There's a few new ones. Each world has a little Mickey cartoon. Like, for example, there's a fire that you're trying to put out in one of the levels. And after you beat every level and get Mickey his water, he goes and tries to put out the fire, and he fails in some way until you get to the 20th level when he finally succeeds in getting it.
Wow. So you're responsible for burning down the Magic Kingdom, basically.
Well, you would be if you didn't put it out. So if you don't play this game, you're going to burn down the Magic Kingdom. But anyway, there's also some levels called Van Goofy, which you can play the first couple of them for free. However, if you want to play the rest of them, it's $1. And then there's Shipwrecked, which also costs money. And it's kind of cool because they go back to like an older Mickey, and they have the little cartoons with him, and it's pretty cool. But it just sorry, that was a sneeze. That was not actually my internet breaking up. And it just feels completely like a cash grab. So
from Disney, I don't believe you.
No, it is. It really is. I know, hard to believe, but they obviously found something that works well in Where's My Water, and they decided to try and slap their major franchise on it and make more money on it. So, like I said, it plays very similar to Where's My Mickey or Where's My Water because, you're drawing past to try and guide the water and collect the items on your way down there. And that's it. It's really very, very similar to Where's My Water. It recycles a lot of, not assets, but it recycles everything else about the game. And like I said, then there's, if you want extra levels, they already have built-in paid extra levels. And there's the bonus levels for when you collect special items. There's 2 bonus levels in each world. So I guess technically in each one there's 22 levels, not just 20. But still, it's not that many levels, and I would recommend going and getting Where's My Water because it feels a lot more unique. The story makes a lot more sense because it makes sense that Swampy wants to get a shower. At least more so than it does that Mickey needs water for all these different things. Like one, he's selling lemonade, and wow. Yeah. So I'm going to be deleting this game. It does feel good, but it's a complete repeat and there's really not much new here. There's no real new mechanisms. It's just modified mechanisms from the other games.
Wow.
And
they're trying to Angry Birds the franchise, essentially.
Well, that's what you do. I mean, if you look at the big three, I mean, Cut the Rope did it too.
Yeah.
However, I feel like Cut the Rope has done it better than the other ones. But yeah, I'm only going to give it a 3 out of 5. If you really, really like the Where's My Water, then yeah, go ahead and get it if you've beat every single level in all those other games. But otherwise, I would say stay away from this one.
Wow.
3 out of 5 because it's good. It's still an okay concept, but they get like negative points for originality and everything else. So that's
nice.
it.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for that review. And hopefully no one spent their money based on Jared's glowing recommendation of 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago or whenever that was.
Well, I seriously, after I had played a few levels, I thought it was really great. And apparently I should have played more before I said anything. Sinister wants his $1 back. Please let me know your information. I'll get you your $1. I apologize, and I'm really sorry to anyone that went and picked it up off of my quick reference.
I think everybody can live with buying a game for $1, Jared. You don't have to offer to give people their money back.
And I'm just glad my internet held up for that.
Yeah, it's really weird. We're having a major thunderstorm right now, so maybe it's me, not you, but yeah, it's really weird. I've been doing some speed tests, and my speed seems fine, but maybe stuff from outside the city is having some issues. So if it was me...
I've had way too many girls tell me that. It's me, not you.
Oh, okay. I've never heard that before, so I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. So, I guess I'll talk to you later.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming out and joining us for yet another Touch of Gaming podcast, episode number 141. Let us know what you think. Head on over to vgpodcast.com. Send us an email. We actually received a bunch of email when I was on vacation, but I don't have any of them ready. So I had a couple questions to read in pretty much each of the podcasts, and I haven't done that. So if you sent in mail, don't worry. It's there. It's there waiting for me to come. Hey, I'm on vacation. What do you want? What do you want from me? I'm doing a show and I'm still on vacation. So give me a break here. But if you've sent in a question, don't worry. We will address it in a future episode of the show. But we want to hear from you. If you haven't sent in a question, shoot us an email, vgpodcast@gmail.com, or call our voicemail line, which is 505-VG-Podcasts, and let us know what you think of the show. And we'll play it in a future episode of the Touch of Gaming podcast. So Jared, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's good to talk to you again, Lloyd.
And we'll talk to you guys in about a week's time. Take it easy. Oh, of course, my music isn't working. Damn thunderstorm. I'm going to blame it on the thunderstorm. Even though that's not even close to the case.